All right, I ran all my door hinge plates through the bead blaster, took off a lot of the scale. I couldn't get inside the holes for the hinge pins. These hinges were really tight. What I really need to do is hone out the scale, the rust out of those holes. They're too tight. What I made is I had a piece of 5/16 aluminum. I turned down on my lathe the ends so that I could take and I slit it with a hacksaw. And this is a piece of emery tape that I use for polishing stuff on the lathe. And then I just work it through. I don't know if you can see all the rust that just came out of that hole. Now it fits fine. I'm going to do that to the rest of them as well. But anyhow, that's a handy trick. If you don't have a reamer and you're trying to clean up a precision rusty hole for something like a hinge especially. See, this did not remove any of the parent metal, but it did get the rust out, and that's all I was looking for. I've got the hinges assembled and the doors hung on the cab temporarily so I could check the fit up. I wanted to make sure that the body lines look correct before I do my skin repair on this. This one has on the bottom corner, the outer skin's got some holes in it, and also the inner door needs some replacement there as well. This one's not too bad. The alignment's pretty good. I had a tweak on the hinges to get that alignment right. On this other side, on the passenger side, the door is hanging down. I need to do some tweaking on this. This has, the only way to get this alignment is to twist the door up. I need to bend one of the hinge plates to push the bottom back and straighten out this body line here. It's not off too bad, about 1/8 inch or so. I'll do that now. All right, I got a piece of 1-inch round stock sitting on the hinge here, so it has a nice gradual bend, and sitting up on a piece of 3/8 inch stock, and the hinge barrel is resting on the aluminum. So I'll just give it a little tweak. We should see this end come up. Okay, that should be enough. Kind of be trial and error. Got the door back on, and looks like that did the trick. The body line looks just right to me. You know, we have to kind of compromise some of the door gaps. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. This side is a little bit open at the bottom, but I have to do some rust repair on this. This one's all mangled up, and I'll pull the door off and show you the rest of it. All right, here's that one door on the bottom, the inside. You can see somebody had used a little bubble gum and stuck some tin cans on it or something. It's missing the flange on it, and you know, the rest of the door bottom is rusted all the way around. The outer door skin is not too bad, except for this front part where there was the patch. I bit the bullet and ordered a inner door patch panel. It should be here by the end of the week. So I'll cut that loose. And I had already had the outer door skin patch panels I had on hand. I might just use part of it, do a partial patch on the outside, but replace this inner door part. I'm going to try to keep as much of the original steel as I can, so I may not, you know, use the whole thing. We'll see when we get there. Here's the driver's door. It's not nearly as bad as the passenger door. Most of the inner door skin is pretty solid until you get to the front corner of it. It's eat up pretty bad there. I'm not going to buy a patch panel for this. I'm going to just fabricate a piece here. What I'm going to do, and also the outer skin in this corner is also pretty bad, but I'm going to cut this area loose and try to make a duplicate corner and splice it in and see what I find when I open it up. Here's the rust damage on the front corner of the driver's door. It's not too bad. The rest of it's pretty solid. There's a couple of big divots in it, and the back corner, I don't know, is worn away and boogered up. But before I do any cutting on it, I put some reference marks, 12 inches up. I put a mark on both sides in case I have to do anything with the door skin. I have a reference mark, a straight line that I could work the bottom with. Also, I made a template for each side of the door. There is a slight contour there, so I could go back and double check. Because I had a good fit on the cab with this, this is a good mark to work from. So anyhow, I'm going to start cutting away and see what I find. All right, I cut the outer skin corner with the rust, and you can see it's got all the dirt and rust between the inner door and the outer skin on the flange. So I'm going to clean this up. I may have to go back further. It looks like you can see it was creeping down that flange. It's rusty, but it's still kind of solid. I'll see how it looks. All right, here's what we have under the skin. There's like an inner skeleton that the hinge plate bolts to, and like an inner framework, and that's where it captured all the debris and rust. When this door skin was in, there was a pocket there. All kinds of dirt was settled in there, and that's why I guess all of these vintage trucks have that problem. That's the inside. I didn't realize there was a inner skeleton, and I cut through that, so I'm going to come back a little further after I sandblast all this, and I'll weld it up. There's metal there, pretty pitted, but I'll clean it up the best I can and weld it. And then I have to make a new piece like this to weld in, and then the outer patch corner will be pretty easy. Okay, I cleaned up all the rust on this inner framework and inside the door. I treated it with a rust converter, and then I have sprayed it with weld-through primer. I have to make this new patch piece. I had to cut back a little further, and I made a rough paper template, for the way I wanted to form it. And I've taken a piece of 19 gauge, made a little piece of 2x4 with the angle for the sheet metal on one side and the radius, and just kind of clamped it up in the vise and just beat it into submission. I'm getting the shape pretty well. Got to work on these flanges a little bit better, weld up the corner, and trim it up, come out here further with the flange, but I think that's coming out pretty good. All right, I have this part complete, I think. Everything seems to fit really well. I'm going to put some weld-through primer on the back, and I've got the flanges where they line up well, but I'm happy with that. All right, she's all welded in. Not perfect, but it's really solid, and I'm happy with the results. I'll put a smear of fiberglass on the welds, and that back side will be done. I'll flip it over and do the little patch on the outer door skin. All right, we're moving to the outside of the door now. That corner piece that was rotted, I cut a piece of 19 gauge and marked it up where I'm going to bend it for the lip. Go in like so. I made it a little oversized, so I'll trim the weld joint to fit. But I've got the inside sprayed up with the weld-through primer, so when I put it on there, it'll be protected. From the inside of the door, I can get in there and put spray undercoating. This is my cheap Harbor Freight brake. One of these days, I'll get a better one, but this is what I have. Okay, I got this panel ready. I pre-bent these edges over as much as I could. It'll slip on because it's open on one end. I've got the length cut right here, and I'm going to use my reference mark, my 12-inch reference mark. I could go to the bottom, and that's up tight, and it's at 12 inches, so good. Using magnets to help align the base of it. These things are dangerous, though. I've already pinched my finger with them. And I'll get a few tacks where it's even, and then work it around, tap it down if I need to, but try to keep this flush. I put a little crown in this patch here. It's not completely flat. It's got a little contour to it, so I did put a little bit of a crown. All right, I just got to use a hammer and dolly on the back side here and pinch this flange over, and she'll be about done. All right, that patch is all finished. I'm pretty happy with it. It needs a little bit of filler work on the weld area, but that'll fare in easily. I also have a couple of holes where the old mirror was mounted. Somebody had originally had some really gaudy looking mirrors, like off of a Trans Am or something on this. Didn't look right. A dent, big divot on the bottom. Just regular body work, nothing major. I'm happy with the way the inside came out. This is not a really critical fit because as you can see, the door sill is, the door just overlaps it. It's not recessed into it, so it's going to work fine. There'll be a weather strip down there. I just got in today the lower patch panel for the inner door for the passenger side. That's the one that was really bad, so I'll be working on that next. I really appreciate everybody stopping by my garage for a visit, and hope everybody's safe. Please comment, like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. I appreciate it. Have a good day.